I, a 29-year-old female, have been friends with a girl, let's call her Kay. I've been friends with Kay, also 29 years old, for 14 years. Recently, Kay and I have been hanging out more often as we lost contact over the years, but then regained it. When we were in high school, she made it clear that she did not want to have children, which I was 100% supportive of because not everyone wants to be a parent. Everyone has a reason why they make those types of decisions. However, I was always just the opposite. I always wanted children and a family, but I never pushed that on her. Fast forward 13 years down the line, when we reconnected for the first time since 2012 last year. I am a delivery driver for DoorDash, and my husband works nights. I don't like to deliver alone at night, so Kay rides with me so I'm not alone. We talk and goof off and jam out to Taylor Swift and other favourite artists while I'm delivering, and we have fun. She has a wild streak in her where she wants to live life to the fullest, and I support her and try to be a part of her dreams as much as possible. However, there are times where I have to say no because I don't have someone to watch my children. I don't just push them onto someone. They are my responsibility and I chose to have them. She often makes snide comments like, "This is why I never had kids," or "Kids take all your money and I'm glad I never had them." She often gets angry with me when I choose to take care of my babies instead of go on crazy adventures with her that are spur of the moment. Another issue that I have is she doesn't drive, and she has no one else to take her on crazy adventures but me or my husband. One day she was really hyped about a concert she wanted to go to, and I told her I couldn't go because my husband had to work, and it was in a big city. I have severe anxiety, and I cannot drive in big cities. She's aware of this, but she proceeded to tell me to have my husband play hooky from his job so we could go and she would pay for everything. I got upset with her and said no. We have bills to pay and our children to take care of, so he can't. She got upset with me and started in on the snide comments about kids as to make me feel bad for choosing to be a mum. I blew up at her and told her it was rude and inconsiderate for her to say those things to me, as I have never made rude comments to her about her not having kids or told her that she just needed to have kids. Am I the jerk? Edit. Just a little more info on the concert. No tickets were bought and nothing was paid for. It was just a spur-of-the-moment, last-minute situation, and she expected me to go along with what she wanted by having my husband call in sick to his job. Clarification details. I have delivered alone in the past, and at any point, I can do it alone again. Like I stated, I always give her a choice and she can say no to me and I won't get upset. I've also gone on adventures with her already. I just cannot go on all of them because I do have responsibilities. She has told me no in the past several times. She has asked me before if she could come with me more often than I ask her, so maybe the entire post should be read before making comments. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. The reason you are back in her life is because everyone else got tired of dealing with her. Comment 2. Not the idiot, but you need to get yourself checked out if you get panic attacks from driving in a big city. Now for the update. It started when Kay apologized, like a sincere, no-holds-barred apology. She admitted she'd been projecting her own fears and insecurities about the whole children and family life thing onto me, and she didn't realize how her comments were actually affecting me. She even teared up, and knowing Kay, that's not something you see every day. What really got to me, though, was when she asked if she could make it up to us somehow. My kids had a school play coming up, and on a whim I invited her. I didn't expect her to come, but not only did she show up, she was like this super aunt in the audience, cheering and taking videos. After the play, she took us all out for ice cream, and for the first time, I saw her genuinely engaging with my kids. It was like a barrier had come down. The most surprising thing? Kay started taking driving lessons. She said she wanted to overcome her own anxiety about driving so that she wouldn't feel so stuck and dependent on others. And get this, she's actually getting pretty good. She's even offered to help with the kids' pickups and drop-offs when my husband's job has him tied up. It's been a huge help. As for my husband and the concert ordeal, Kay did something I never would have expected. She sold the tickets and instead used that money to help us out with a little home project we'd been putting off because of the cost. She said she realized friendships need to be about give and take, and she hadn't been holding up her end. I feel like I've gotten my friend back, but even better, because we're both growing and respecting each other's lives, it's like we're learning how to be there for each other in new ways that actually work for where we're at now. It's been pretty amazing, and honestly, I'm just really grateful for how things have turned out. Now for the comments. Comment 1. You're the idiot for even doubting Kay's intentions. The fact that she's actively making amends by attending your kids' play and helping with rides shows a lot of growth. You should have been more supportive of her from the start instead of having a heart-to-heart that probably felt like an intervention. People deal with insecurities in different ways, and it sounds like Kay just needed a friend to be patient with her. Comment 2, not the idiot. It's great that you had that talk with Kay. Communication is key in any relationship, and it seems like it really paid off. She's clearly trying to make up for her past behavior by being there for you and your kids, and even selling her concert tickets to help out. That's a true friend, someone who listens, acknowledges their mistakes, and takes action to improve. Comment 3, not the idiot. It's really heartwarming to see how a sincere conversation can turn things around. Kay's efforts to overcome her driving anxiety and her willingness to help out with your kids show that she values your friendship deeply. It's not easy to confront a friend about issues like this, but doing so has clearly strengthened your bond. Plus, helping with a home project, that's above and beyond. Now for the next story. Last month while pregnant, I went to my 39-week checkup. The doctor had been concerned because the baby was not in the right position for birth, so I was told that they were going to do an external cephalic version, or ECV, which is when the doctor uses her hands on the belly to cause pressure for the baby to move into the right position. While doing this, I was being monitored by their computer, and the baby's heart was also being monitored. It was very uncomfortable, but I know the doctor was being safe. Ultimately, it did not work, so they scheduled a C-section for the following week, but told me that if the baby had moved to the right position by then, they would induce me for a vaginal birth. The day of the ECV, I told my extended family, including my mother-in-law. She is from Mexico and likes to do traditional home remedies and treatments for her ailments. One of the traditions she has is visiting a sobadora, which is like a masseuse that claims to fix many problems using their herbal oils and chiropractic techniques. Well, she suggested that I go to this woman to turn the baby, and that way I could avoid the C-section. I told her many times that day that I wouldn't trust someone to work on my belly without monitoring my baby's heart. I thought she understood that I was against this idea, but the following morning she knocked at my door and she had the sobadora lady with her. I tried to be nice to them and tried to explain how I wasn't comfortable letting her touch me, but they kept insisting. It got to the point that I was so angry that I yelled at both of them to leave because the sobadora was not a doctor and she is not qualified to do any treatment on me. They left, but my mother-in-law called me an ungrateful snob. The following week my baby had still not moved, so I did end up getting a C-section. But my baby is healthy, and I'm grateful to the doctors who helped deliver her to me safely. But now it's been a couple weeks since my argument with my mother-in-law. And even though she loves on the baby, she's very short with me, and she told me I should apologize for how rude I was to her. I don't want to apologize because I feel she was the one who was out of line. My husband was always supportive of my decision and was backing me up, but somehow my mother-in-law still doesn't get that she was inappropriate in what she was asking me to do. My sister-in-laws both said that I should have given it a chance since it could have helped me avoid the C-section, and that I acted like an a-hole to the sobadora by saying she wasn't a doctor. So am I the idiot for the way I refused the traditional treatment? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. LOL. Excuse me, what? I am Mexican, and this is ridiculous. Sobadoras are not doctors and they are supposed to be very in sync with vibes, so this lady trying to touch you against your will is not even a good sobadora. Tell your husband to stop this now, and please be very careful because your mother-in-law might try to take your daughter to the sobadora, which is extremely dangerous. Comment 2. Babies can die when you attempt to turn them. They had to turn my youngest and I could tell the doctor was a little nervous. I had several electrodes on my stomach that monitored the heartbeat. A nurse was doing a sonogram while the doctor turned the baby, and I also got a massive dose of terbutaline to make my uterus relax. It's not something amateurs should be doing. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Think about denying access to your baby until mother-in-law apologizes for ignoring your autonomy. Now for the update. A few days after the C-section, while I'm still in the hospital, my husband gets a call. His mum, my mother-in-law, has been admitted to another hospital, appendicitis. It burst, and she needed emergency surgery. Suddenly she's the one lying in a hospital bed and we're rushing over to check on her. Ironically, her condition opened a door for reconciliation. She was groggy, but when she saw us, she actually apologized for the whole Sobadora fiasco, saying pain made her realize she shouldn't have tried to push pain onto me. I accepted her apology because, honestly, who holds a grudge at a time like that? But it doesn't end there. While we're all focused on recovering, me, the baby, and now Mill, my husband gets laid off, out of nowhere. His company was apparently restructuring, and he was part of the excess. So there we were, new baby, 2 surgeries, and now 1 less income. We're reeling, trying to figure out next steps, when my sister-in-law, the one who thought I should have given the Sobadora a chance, sets up a GoFundMe for us. I'm still iffy about accepting help like this, but the donations start pouring in. People we haven't spoken to in years, strangers even, and somehow it's turning into this huge wave of support. And then, the most jaw-dropping thing happens during one of my post-op checkups. The doctor, who's been so clinical and straight-laced this whole time, tells me he wants to feature our remarkable story at a medical conference. He thinks our case, with the failed ECV, the successful C-section and the family dynamics, would make a great subject for a discussion on modern birthing experiences. So, now I'm mulling over the idea of being a case study, whilst my husband is job hunting and we're both marvelling at the generosity of people around us. And mother-in-law, she's on the mend and suddenly super supportive, offering to babysit while we sort out our lives. Who would have thought? Life's thrown us into a whirlwind of drama, but it's also shown us how resilient we can be, and that sometimes the wildest twists lead to unexpected silver linings. Now, for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Life threw you lemons, and you made lemonade. It's not every day that people reconcile with in-laws, overcome financial hurdles, and get recognized by a medical professional. Celebrate these wins and don't let anyone tell you that you shouldn't enjoy this moment of recognition and support. Comment 2. You're the idiot for enjoying the attention from your birthing experience while your husband is out of a job. It seems a little tone-deaf to bask in the limelight when your family is facing financial instability. Maybe focus on supporting your husband rather than soaking up the spotlight at a medical conference. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Your sister-in-law setting up a GoFundMe was a brilliant move and shows how loved you all are. Plus, having your story featured at a medical conference is a rare opportunity that could help others. It's important to find positives in a sea of negatives, and it sounds like you're doing just that. Keep your head up. Now for the next story. I, 19-year-old male, recently lost my mum to cancer. Her funeral was a week ago. For some background information, my parents divorced 10 years ago. My dad wasn't a good guy. He cheated on my mum multiple times during their marriage. He was never there for me. When I was 14, my dad reached out to me. He remarried and I met his wife, Rebecca, and her 2 kids, Sammy, now 16-year-old male, and Katie, now 15-year-old female. My mum had full custody of me up until that point, but my dad decided to fight for 50-50 custody because his wife needed someone to watch her kids and money was tight for them. For 4 years, I was their free babysitter, 2 weeks out of every month, and they would ground me if I refused to help during my weeks with my mum. I spent a lot of my time grounded at their house, which made me absolutely hate him and his family. My mum was diagnosed with cancer when I was 17. She came from money, but cancer's a witch, and what she had wasn't enough. I got a job and tried pitching in as much as I could. This bothered my dad, as he had been in a tough financial situation for years, and I never contributed. A month before I turned 18, I told my school counsellor that my dad and his wife were treating me badly. I had lied because they were keeping me from seeing or calling my mum when it was my dad's time and I was getting frustrated. Their home was investigated, my dad's kids were talked to, and obviously nothing was found. I got grounded and my stuff was taken away because, as my dad put it, I had embarrassed him and accused him of not taking care of me. On my 18th birthday, I left. I've ignored my dad's calls and cut out his family. I was never close with his other kids, so it didn't really bother me. This last year my mum got worse. I watched her suffer through her last months. I hated that I couldn't do anything. At her funeral, I sat with my best friend, Nick, 19-year-old male. My dad was invited by some extended family and I didn't even know. After the service was over, I got berated by my dad for not sitting with my family and not acknowledging him or his family in my speech. His wife was offended that I said that my mum was someone who could never be replaced and how she was always there for me. My dad said that his wife had tried for years to bond with me and I never cared about her feelings. He said his kids were upset when I walked out of their lives and how I hurt them because I never cared for them. I told him that he was being a hypocrite since I recalled him doing the same thing to me when I was a kid. The fight escalated and he said that he tried to change and I got tired of his nonsense. He began insulting my mum, so I told him to leave. When he refused, I cried until some family took him outside. My dad and even my mum's side of the family have been telling me that I acted immaturely, and it made my dad look bad that his son didn't sit with him. I believe that he had no right to expect me to care about him. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I'm so sorry for the loss of your mother. Your dad did too little too late. He's more worried about his redo family and how he appears than actually concerned for you. You're grieving, and him approaching you like that is horrible. Not the idiot. Comment 2. Absolutely not. Your dad tried to basically get 100% custody of you from your dying mother. I would have been as far away from him as possible at the funeral. I'm sorry for your loss. Comment 3. I wouldn't have anything to do with him or his wife again. They're hurtful users. Block them and build a life that would make your mother happy and proud of you. Now for the update. 2 weeks have passed since the funeral, and the situation has both escalated and taken some unexpected turns. After the funeral, my father tried to push his way back into my life, insisting we need to settle things as a family. He showed up at my job, causing a scene that ended up with my manager threatening to call the police if he didn't leave. Word got out, and I found myself in the middle of a family debate that spilled onto social media. But here's where it gets wild. My father's sister, Aunt Carol, whom I hadn't heard from in years, contacted me out of the blue. She'd seen the drama unfold online and wanted to offer support. We met for coffee, and she revealed a bombshell. My father's infidelity wasn't just a one-time thing. He'd been leading a double life for years, even before the divorce. She confessed she felt guilty for not telling my mother at the time and apologized for not being there to support me. Meanwhile, my stepmother has been messaging me non-stop, playing the victim, claiming my actions have caused irreparable stress on their family and her children's well-being. But her narrative started to crumble when I received an unexpected message from one of the kids I used to babysit, now a teenager. She confided that she and her siblings always knew I was being used and apologized for never standing up for me. She also shared that my stepmother's been telling people that I reached out wanting to reconcile, which is a complete lie. The nail in the coffin. My father's current mistress contacted me. She'd seen my story spread on social media and wanted to clear her conscience. She provided proof of their affair, which started before my mum passed. I was floored. I haven't confronted my father with this yet, and I'm not sure I will. I'm currently seeking legal advice to ensure my father can't come near me at work or my home again. The fallout from all these revelations has been massive. Some family members have apologized for not believing me, while others remain staunchly on my father's side. I'm focusing on healing now, surrounding myself with friends and the family who support me. It's been a roller coaster, and I'm just trying to hold on. Now, for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Your father created the chaos, not you. It's not your job to cover up his lies or endure his attempts at public reconciliation. Good on you for seeking legal advice to maintain your boundaries. Keep healing with those who truly support you. Comment 2. You're the idiot for airing dirty laundry on social media. Family matters should be kept private, and you escalated the drama. Your father's attempt to reconcile, however poorly timed, shows he wants to mend things. You could have handled this more gracefully. Comment 3. Not the idiot. The revelation of your dad's double life and the stepmother's deceitful narrative justifies your actions. It's a tough spot, but you're right to protect your peace and seek a legal barrier. Your well-being comes first, and it sounds like you've got a solid support system with those who've apologized and stood by you. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.